Bitcoin is correcting, and that is weighing on the crypto market. We can see that the market is slowly correcting down as the momentum is reducing. So in assets like XRP, the large cap coins, they are being slowed down by the move of Bitcoin, even though the market cap is still close to 1.2 trillion. Remember, a couple of weeks back when we were talking, it was $1.1 trillion. And right now we are flirting with the $1.2 trillion level. And in the same market, understand there are things like this happening. This is not a weekly chart, it's a 4-hour chart. So this is happening right now in this market, right? Yes, I agree, Bitcoin is weighing down, pushing a lot of coins to the downside. And that was one of the reasons why we started taking profits when we had the feeling that, yeah, this is going to go down. Bitcoin is going to slow the market down, right? We were talking about the volatility. And, just after this post, this happened in that asset. So if you have patience, if you have discipline, the market does show you opportunities. There was a lot of different assets which we were trading, and we had to close them to see how they are right now correlated with Bitcoin. Whether it's 50%, whether it's 60%, whether it's 100% or 25%, we closed it and we made sure now if we enter, we're going to enter onto different trades which actually has a little bit better correlation metrics with Bitcoin. So it's not pulling the price down. So right now, this is something which is happening in the market. We had the call earlier, breaking higher. These are the targets, and that's already 30% up. And I'm like, okay, the market is doing something. Now, we don't know what's going to happen next, but right now, while I'm doing the video, look at the volume, look at the asset moving. That looks promising. You go look at the weekly and you're like, we are just starting. So from that level, you have a long way to the upside if you have patience, right? Again, now the primary question I always see is like, why is XRP not doing anything? Why is XLM not doing anything? Why is the large cap coins as a whole not doing much? Understand, this is how the crypto market works. You first see movements happening in smaller cap coins compared to the large cap ones. You're looking at the top performing coins here, and you only see one coin which is at the 73 stage hitting 50% day. Most of them are not doing much, right? And on the other side, you see a lot of them in red, which is not favorable because Bitcoin just started to drop. So it can actually be in any ways. Now, when we take profits, we are literally looking for all these assets, right? We took profits from audio, we moved out. We took profits from DYDX. I shared those in the Twitter, right? Now we are seeing them correcting. So there is a reason for you to understand when an asset is getting highly correlated with Bitcoin, and if Bitcoin is showing you that it is going to drop to the downside. So on a 4-hour chart, it does show you right now next 4 hour is most likely red. The price is below the moving average, which is a concern for me. Then I'm looking on a daily and it shows me like most likely next 24 hours is going to be red, which is a concern. And the price can always come back and meet and greet the 21-day moving average. So here I'm using an exponential moving average. So I would say close to 23. That means we can still drop another $1,000 based on the current price here. Now understand, the market has a lot of different news, some of which does not actually look great. So now it's our job to look at the market, to break it down and to understand the basics of this market. What we are looking at, what's going to be the support level, how much are we looking to the downside, and what are we really looking on the other assets which are really pumping. Welcome to the Scientific Investor family, where the normal retail guys learn how to become the next top 10% of this world. When we talked about this in yesterday's video, the views were way lower than usual. But what I understood with time is like, okay, if you are trying to give the right information, the educational material, Most of them don't like that unless you have, a 100x kind of thing, that big hype kind of thing somewhere. You don't see much of views coming in. And that is one of the primary reason, at least I believe that's one of the primary reason why not a lot of people really make money in this crypto market. When you really do have opportunities like this, you really see opportunities like this asset just popped. So even if you were not leveraged, you had the ability to make 50 to 100% on that day, which is massive, right? Now, yes, you know that it's crypto market and it's going to be volatile, it's risky. So the first question is, where is the resistance? We are getting rejected right here from that resistance. We tried earlier once, then we saw weakness starting to come into the price action, and slowly we came back to the moving average. That was okay. But as soon as you broke below the moving average, that is not okay, because now you'll have to take a step back, go to daily chart, and then look at where the moving average is, because most likely the next big stop is going to be here. Now, yes, I do agree on the point that we have a support close to this level, 23,800, and on different exchanges, you do see different prices. We just right now, so here it's 23,758. So what you're looking at is close to that level. Price already came to 23,540. So you kind of get that picture. It's going to be volatile. And it's not bad, because the way we understand this, we are clear that we have long-term support zones which are about to land big orders. So a lot of people in the market who lost this area or missed this area are literally waiting for the price to slowly come back down, so you then buy, right? You see this, the price goes parabolic, then it corrects back down, but it is not actually coming back to the original level. So if you are missing this point and you are able to buy back here, which is, a good thing in my opinion, I can be wrong, but what we are looking at is this pattern, which actually broke to the upside. Remember, that's macro pattern, which we are talking about. That broke to the upside. Now we are trending to the upside. We have not yet retested this level or consolidated. So it would be fair enough to say that the market may consolidate in this range. It may come back down, bounce, do that sideways action, but it still is positive news. Why? Because during those times, you actually see altcoin market taking off. This is metal, which we just showed you on the other side. So it's up 100% for the week, but 60% for the day. That's actually a good thing to look at if you are looking at that one. And look at DEN, it's like 16% for the day and 50% for the week. So you get to see a lot of these small to medium cap coins bouncing from a big support line. So you have to ask, like, if Bitcoin is dropping and everyone else is panicking, who is buying this? That's why I told you this. Money is moving within the market. Put some glue on your hand, try and see what sticks on your hand. And that literally is, now you can say it's a guessing game. I agree on that perspective. But I would say technical analysis gives you a well-educated guess, right? So if you know that this is going to be the next support and you are waiting to see whether the price action shows you a reversal signal, at that point, I'll be bullish, right? So personally, if it's me, I'm looking at the price action, then I would actually come in here, and what I personally want to see is that this was the close of that candle, fine, the last bullish candle, and then I go towards the start of that candle and the previous bear. Now, if the price happens to actually come down till here, and close it there, I'm still happy to be bull. Because most likely it's going to come down here, eventually bounce back up. That is something we have always seen. But not always it respect the previous range. So if we do that here, that's going to be even more bullish. Right now we are at a point where we are testing the previous level here. That's actually interesting to see. But do I think it's going to hold? I really doubt that's going to hold, right? That is my literal honest opinion about the market right now. But even if we are coming down to that support, understand what is going to happen to the altcoins. You're going to see a lot more money being moved in and around, and you're going to see the market consolidating in one range, which is most likely scenario. And at that time, let's hope some of these money actually come into the large cap coins. Now we are at a resistance. We do agree on that perspective, and I think most of us know that if we are getting rejected from this level, then what we are looking for XRP is 0.36, close to that level, and it kind of happens to be the previous level of support resistance zone. So if you plot that, you're like, okay, we have some level of support at that range for XRP. So that's actually a positive scenario. Now, yeah, you can also go on to an XRP BTC chart to see, like, how deep are we actually going, because the way you see this is like you've been here at the bottom range. Now, when I say bottom range, I'm zooming all the way out. This was the top. You're now close to the bottom. So most likely we would say buy low, sell high. So if you're buying here, in my honest thought process, I'm like, that's close to the low. It's not anywhere near the all-time highs for sure. So basically, if you buy here and hold, if you have patience, now that's the other part, right? The market can be rational longer than we can stay liquid. So our job is to stay liquid. Our job is to make money in the market when money in the market is just moving around, not pushing everything higher. I saw a quote from CZ highlighting, a rising tide lift all of the boats. Now here, we are not literally watching all of these boats rising. I agree with this perspective. On a bull market, we see almost every coin, even the meme coins, whether they have a fundamental, a strong project, whatever, they burst, they go higher. But that's not the case right now. Right now, it's different set of correlations working in the market. Some of them are AI, some of them are literally like gaming, the metaverse. So the market is kind of choosing one to another in this sector. After that staking issue which came from US, we literally saw assets actually popping based on that narrative. Rocket Pool, Anchor, these are changing and evolving signal in the market, which we literally have to sit there, learn through the market and try and adopt. So right now, if we are actually observing the market in that way, I would actually say on a short-term narrative, I wouldn't actually go panicking right now, because that's not the time for it. What we are doing here is that we tested this range and we are still in a bull flag if you are looking as a macro guy, right? Because if you are a macro guy, then you would actually try to argue that this is the flagpole, which actually looks interesting, and you made this. That happens to be a long-term support here in this range. Now, it's not a long-term support in that sense, but you'll have to actually zoom out to the macro level and observe that it was a previous level of support as well. But right now, we do have some selling pressure happening here. We can actually see that. So the most recent support there is here, and we think that the price can drop down close to the moving average. So the bull flag is going to get completed here, and if we get a bounce there, it's going to be great. Keeping that scenario same and moving on to the macro side of this, we are going to see things change, because on the other end, as we talked, dollar is slowly climbing to the upside. Not a lot of people would agree on that perspective, but when Bitcoin is dropping lower, remember, this is what's happening with dollar. So dollar is actually strong. Dollar broke higher, it came back, retested and bounced. This is what we literally talked when we were here as we were bouncing higher. Now that kind of gives you the narrative or understanding of the market, showing this is what's happening in the market. Now, one of the best things which you can do is reduce the noise in the market. You go on to a Ranko chart and you're literally looking at what's happening and you're like, okay, we are trending higher. There is nothing much to worry about. But initially, it was literally increasing momentum to the upside. But now the easiest layman terms, count the number of green and then equate it to the red. Here was just one red and then a lot of green. Then it turned to red and a little bit of green. Now we are again in red. So something is changing. We need to actually observe what it is. Now if the market decides to bounce from this level, coming back down, Now, at this point, we can say that's a double top, but we really don't know whether the price is going to bounce from this level. So if you actually put a horizontal line here, and the argument here is we don't know what's going to happen, because if the price come back down here and bounce, that can also possibly be a double bottom. But right now, you cannot neglect the double top on the short term. That's why I told we have support range, which we may come back and test. So guys, we are not literally being a maximalist in any asset, even though we like XRP as an asset very much. We are right now trying to stay liquid till my XRP bag pops, right? This is the most important thing. If the market is irrational, fine, I understand that. But the other side of that is I need to stay liquid till the market becomes rational and understand the value of this asset. If it's going to $1,000, $10,000, whatever is the ideology being pushed outside. But I would still again go back to that and, being a guy who's in finance, who's literally doing finance every day. And, this is like financial statement analysis from CFA. I'm literally going through this every day for the CFA preparations. And I'm like, there are people out there who give their thought process. Agreed. Now, what they give you here is the NPV, net present value, and you can actually calculate net present value without the interest rates, which is really hard to actually predict. This is one of the best investors of all time. Peter Lynch, head of Magellan Fund for like 13 years. And if I remember correctly, he had like the average of 29% a year back then, which is a huge thing. Now, if you are calculating for this long, 99 years, it's most likely just the future value by the interest rate, because it's like, perpetuity. You're looking for very long term, and it's really hard to predict the interest rates. Imagine what if the interest rate goes zero or negative. Are you saying the asset is going to decrease in value? Like, it kind of gets confusing. And then I was personally trying to learn more about this to understand, a lot of these people really don't take time to learn or understand what's happening in the market. So this is something I think all of you who have XRP or who are watching these 10,000, 100,000 price valuation, this can be interesting for you. When you look at LCX, crypto exchange, they give you this idea. When you're looking at the traditional finance, like what I've talked about in the CFA, the golden standard for investing, they talk about the free cash flow, the price to earnings, the earnings per share, book value extra. Here in crypto market, you don't have any of that. So using this traditional equation to find value in a crypto asset is going to be really hard. One, you can use macro. I agree. But not these things which are there in the price action for crypto. It's not actually going to be the same. Now, I've actually tried to put in a thread and I've even tagged Crypto Airy, but I don't think, this is like 2,500 followers. She may have like 220,000. So it's going to be really hard for her to even accept or even think about this perspective. But what I want you guys to know is, even if it's just 1,000 people or 2,000 people, you should actually know what's real, what's just hype, what's milking the community. So you need to understand what's happening. So here, however, there is no method of listening to a quarterly profit invitation for a token because they do not exist. So there are no company revenues, profits, expenses to consider for Bitcoin. They're just giving you one example. And what do they say? The decentralized nature of cryptocurrency is an absolutely vital founding part of this project. So if they say, yeah, we can still do this for XRP, it's not a decentralized project. It's completely centralized. You get all this information. If it's decentralized, you literally don't know what's going to happen. And you're trying to literally look for next 99 years. Now I'm like, that's going to be really hard, my friends. But anyway, that's the reality of the market. Either you can see the real price action, learn from that and do your own stuff, or you can just go on thinking like, yeah, my XRP, I have 10 XRP and 1 XRP is going to be $100,000. Great. You can sit and digest that. But it's your decision what to look out for, because the market is actually literally showing you this right now. This is not something, which happens every day, but this happens most likely every day. That's the scenario. Now, we really don't know how long this is going to happen, but the way you are observing different set of correlation in the market, weekly breakouts, this is really helpful, at least for my thought process. When dollar is strong and Bitcoin is weak, this market actually shows you that you may have to look for opportunities, because if this remains the case, then instead of breaking to the upside, we are coming back down here, 22,500. That's still fine. You're still inside this pattern, but this is an ascending, broadening wedge. Keep that in mind. So we may have a consolidation, killing a lot of leverage trades in Bitcoin and highly correlated assets. Now, the difference is it's just correlated, right? Bitcoin drops 10%. These coins drop 20 or 100. Look at this one. Bitcoin dropped 2.73% for the day, and on the other end, you see these are 10% down. And you go on to the next level, and it's like 12% down. You go to the next level, and you see something similar, right? So it's like 3 to 5 times the volatility of Bitcoin to that direction. So you really want to stay away from that and be in assets which are at least neutral or having the inverse. When Bitcoin is dropping, these are actually going higher. Getting those is one of the important things. Those assets which we closed recently, that was the reason. We actually tried to put in the time and find those assets, and it kind of helped. And if you are literally looking for that kind of thought process, opportunity, different assets, what we are doing, what's the target, all of this, it really is going to be helpful. You can look at the Patreon. The link is given in the description below, where I post all of this in detail. Now, if it's really next 3 to 5 months where you have this opportunity and then you go down because the economy is going to drop after maybe 5 months or 6 months, then what you really don't want is the level of regret when you see this opportunity taking place on one side and you literally didn't take any action. So it's your life, it's your money, it's your decision. So guys, if you received value for your time, please do hit that like and subscribe button. That supports the channel a lot. I'll meet you guys on the next video. Bye-bye.